Hi guys, this is Annabelle. Together with Chuang, we're here at DoMore Media where we cover two things, health and wealth, two things that we want to have more of. Meantime, I am here in the south of France and it's been 31 days since my arrival. I come here every year for the last 18 years and there are a lot of thoughts and reflections. It so happens that August is a National Self Awareness Month. This is the month where you pause to think about yourself, to assess your own mental, physical, emotional wellness. It's a time to reduce stress. And to be honest, it couldn't be more perfect than getting away from your usual place where you live, where you work, and just leave everything behind. Here are some of my thoughts after 31 days in Europe. I would love to share some tips as well as some insights. Being here in the south of France, there are a lot of, I would say, reflections and things that have happened. And let me share it with you. As it's Self Awareness Month, it's Mental Health Month, and because at the end of the day, we've got one way ticket. All of us, we're the same. We've got one way, one road. Nobody's going to be spared from mortality. So let's make the most out of it. And I'd like to share some of my experiences here. Maybe it will help you. But apart from that, it's really mostly self awareness, right? We're here at this mental health month. So a few things. One, we're right here at my husband's parents' home, and we've been coming here for the last 18 years. And a lot of things have changed. One would be we've got neighbors around. Some of the neighbors have already moved out. Some of the neighbors have changed hands. And mostly it's not because they were selling, but because they died. We had a very close neighbor, and just a few weeks ago, when we just arrived, we saw them taking out stuff from the house, and they've been cleaning up the house for a year and a half. The parents died, and it's a huge house with a lot of things. And he did give some insights saying that, when you pass away, everything else that matters to you is just there. It's just there, and it's not really meaningful to the kids. That moment reminded me that material things really, to be honest, I love shopping. I love stuff. Um, I love the marketing of all the brands. But when I saw death in the eye, right, when I saw them pulling out all the items, throwing it out, donating, giving it away, trashing, just to clear up the house so that they can sell it. It gives a whole new meaning to realizing that we are mere mortals with just X number of years left. And as I turn 50 next year, that's a lot of thoughts. Midlife crisis, if you want to call it, but it's also a midlife opportunity to relook at what really matters. Second would be I have a very good friend. She's Malaysian. The husband is French, and they decided last December 31st, 2024, to sell everything. They had a house in Tamandesa. They have two beautiful children who also studied in Lycée Français, which is the French school, and they decided to take an adventure. It's really brave of her, and I really applaud her. She spent the last 7 months away from Malaysia, went to Haute-Savoie, which is the mountainous area of France, and went there to live with the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law has a beautiful big house, and she's getting old. And they decided to take an adventure and just go there and live with her and see how it goes. So first they sold their house. Second, they uprooted everything. They left their jobs, and they have a few realizations which she shared with me. It's been 7 months that she has been living in France. And coincidentally, in July, just before I came to France, she flew back to Malaysia, to KL, and she had a blood test. So before leaving, she had the blood test. When she came back, she had the blood test. One of the things she discovered, first, her cholesterol levels, her blood work was impeccable, much better than when she was living in Malaysia. I do believe it's the eating in or eating at home where you have better quality ingredients, a lot of cooking at home, less of the processed food, the oils, and the delicious flavors that Malaysia has, but we also tend to eat out more. So in France, it's kind of harder to eat out because of the cost. So yeah, so her cholesterol levels, blood work got so much better. And she realized a few things. Cost of living is not so high when you're in France if you don't eat out, not like when we're in Malaysia. We've got a lot of things that we spend on in Malaysia, like recreation. Meanwhile, in France, the cost mostly of education is free for her kids, and most of the money went to groceries and spending time together, cooking, doing hikes. So yeah, so they haven't spent much on other things except for groceries, and she's exercised more. She feels healthier. She didn't really lose weight, but I think she got a lot more muscles. The quality of life is so much better, simply because we don't really need to go out and about into the shopping mall. So that's the other observation. Very rarely you'll find shopping malls. Other than that, you're kind of satisfied with a few brands around, and you won't really have a shopping mall where there's a lot of temptations. So yeah, less temptations in France. They do have online shopping. They do have Amazon, but again, why do you need so much when you don't go out to socialize as much as in KL? So that's another realization. For mental health, I do think that a lot of people here pause to really take a break. French are very, very serious about their holidays. Don't mess with July and August. That's when they take off, and you really can't disturb them because they've worked their ass off the whole year and they take this break with their families, with the kids, or for themselves to go to the sea, to go to the mountains, and really spend time. So, again, just like the Italians say, dolce far niente, to just sit around and do nothing. I think this is very opposite to Asians, at least in my observation, and I quite enjoy my moments here. KL just feels so far, 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 far away. The problems, the expectations, the stress is just far away. And that's probably one of the things you can do if you wanted a real pause. Don't just get away for 3 days and 2 nights, which what typically I did before. I've learned how to do slow travel, spend more longer time appreciating and not really rushing and just going from place to place. So being in the south of France, we have extra days, so we go to small villages to discover, to walk around, look at the history, to wonder about humanity, right? And we don't get to do this very often in KL, where the city is modern. Even in Manila, it's the same. Everything is hustling and bustling. But when you go to other parts, especially in Europe, where they preserve a lot of the old monuments, you have a lot of time to reflect. And I think that's also why a lot of artists, Picasso, Da Vinci, all these beautiful artworks were created in Europe. You really see the landscape, you get inspired, you see the sun, you see the moon, you see fields, you see places that is not man made, but God made. And it just inspires you to just create. That's one of the things I love about coming here. I get time to paint, which I rarely do when I'm in KL because of the hustle and bustle and maybe just the whole environment itself. I do love the blue skies and the sunsets. So in the summer, our sunset happens at 9 p.m., 9:30 p.m., and the sun will rise quite early. And we get to have a really long day. Some of the summers are getting hotter, and there's more mosquitoes here in the south of France. It used to not be like this. There are changes in the environment, such as even in Haute Savoie, where my friend is, the grandmother said that the weather has been changing. So while I'm here, I was watching the news and seeing all the natural calamities happening around the world. You've got this self awareness month, but it's also a moment to pause and be grateful. Even the meals that you have to be grateful. You see Gaza, you see places where there's flooding, volcanoes erupting, earthquakes happening. And if you went back home and you had a normal, boring day, that's a blessing in itself. And it helps to have a journal to write your thoughts. Sharing with you some of my thoughts when I'm here and I had time to scroll through social media and saw all this news, which felt far away yet near because we could have friends, we have some family who are around these places. In the Philippines, it was flooding a lot. There were typhoons. In Japan, the earthquake. Gaza, the hunger. So, yeah, these are things to be thankful for. And I think when you pause to think about these things, you feel so much um, more blessed than just where you are today. I do think traveling is one of the best ways to realize how small we are as humans, right? Like you travel the world and you realize that there's so many different cultures, nationalities, practices, food, places, and spaces. So by traveling, I do think that, and I hope that we are giving our children some knowledge that cannot be given through school. And may it be memories that they can bring with them as they grow older, because eventually they are going to grow old. And these are some of the thoughts that I've had in this trip, and hopefully, it has also enlightened you in this National Self Awareness Month. Thanks for watching. This is Annabelle at DoMore, where we cover health and wealth, two things that we want to have more of. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.